As chair of the Higher Education Committee, Senator Paul Anderson toured the Iron Range and areas surrounding the Twin Cities this fall to learn more about the ways of preparing and training today's students for tomorrow's workforce needs through partnerships between businesses and higher education. He joins me now to talk more about it. Thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me, Shannon.
What are the challenges facing businesses today in terms of finding workers, and how does it vary by region?
Well, we have record low unemployment. We've got a great economy in many aspects, but really what's happening around the state of Minnesota and all the regions are a lack of workforce. And so this was an opportunity for us to go out and talk with these communities, from the higher education sector to the business community to the local Chamber of Commerce, and really find out what's working, what's not, what they need help with. And it was really fascinating what we found out.
The Minnesota Chamber of Commerce, the Minnesota Manufacturing Association, and the Minnesota Business Partnership were all with you on these tours. Why is it now so important for higher education to work with businesses?
Well, I think you're seeing in this ever-changing economy, you're talking about technology advancements, you're talking about innovation that's just outpacing what government can do. And in the higher education sector, we need to really be prepared from the employer's perspective of what they need now, not 6 months from now, a year from now, because things are changing so fast. So it's imperative that we bring the business communities, the chambers, the partnership, and those institutions into the discussion to lead us into what they need in the workforce. Not just let higher education or government tell the business sector what they need. And that's, I think, a changing course as things change so fast in our industries, that we really need to be on the front end, not the back end responding. We need to be flexible enough to get ahead of the game.
So trying to get a dialogue between the business and the educators.
Exactly.
And it's different than how it has been done.
It is, and I think this is a very intentional effort, and we don't want to discount the great work that's being done at the higher education system, because it's really imperative as well. But in this case, if the employers, if the businesses don't have the workforce that's trained and ready to go once they exit training, and this might not just be those students coming out of high school into career and technical schools, these might be aging learners, they might be returning to the workforce. There's all these different pockets of people, but they have to be ready, they have to be competent in their trade and ready to hit the ground running, and that's the imperative thing. If businesses have to sit and spend 6 months to a year retraining these employees, that doesn't do them any good. So they need the workers ready to go to hit the ground running.
So college-bound students of all ages, as you said, not just the typical 18-year-olds, can apply for workforce development scholarships in the areas of advanced manufacturing, agriculture, healthcare services, information technology, early childhood education, and transportation at any of the 30 state colleges of the Minnesota state system, thanks to an appropriation from the legislature. So what is the goal?
Yeah, well, the goal here is to make sure those students that they can identify these areas to go into. And now picture yourself in Thief River Falls or at Northland Community College or different areas of the state that may need, let's say up in Thief River Falls, they need more manufacturing than another area of the state. They can identify high school students or other people in the community that they can bring in and give these scholarships to that might not otherwise be able to afford school, or just enhance their opportunities to go to these schools, keep them in their own regions, which is really important as well, and then get that training to get really good jobs, good paying jobs, good benefits that would not receive the debt they would in going to a four-year institution. Now, I'm not saying we don't want to, we want to discourage students from going to four-year institutions, but there are a lot of students out there, or people that want to go get better jobs, different jobs in different industries, that would look at this as an opportunity, but for this scholarship, they wouldn't be able to do that. So we heard some great testimonies, some stories of students that have been able to maybe go to these schools that wouldn't have been able to take time away from work because they couldn't afford it, that have received those scholarships, and they'll be able to graduate in a year or two, and again, increase their livelihood, their quality of life enormously because of these opportunities.
Are higher educational institutions, are they flexible enough? Because faculty can have very long tenures. They can specialize in skills that or ideas or philosophies that are changing or less relevant over time. Does higher education itself need to make some changes both in its mission and practice to train workers? I mean, you talked about the value of the traditional as we know it, but is it going to be two-pronged now?
Yeah, it has to be more flexible. It just has to be for our economy of today and tomorrow. It has to be able to adapt and change much more than it has in the past. We can't wait for advisory committees to come together to produce curriculum based on jobs of years ago. We have to get ahead of things. And again, this is where those partnerships are critical. And we put some dollars in that in legislation to create those partnerships that really brings in the community champions, the business groups, and also higher education, all working together to make sure they're on the front end again, not just responding.
So there's some urgency here. But is there a possibility, or are people concerned about the possibility that these pathways will be created and these workers will be trained and then the market will change, or the businesses might relocate, or the needs might change, or more in artificial intelligence technology comes in? I mean, you're talking about how dynamic this is. This is very dynamic.
It is, and that's the key thing, is we have to do something. We can't just sit back and let the industries dictate and then not have the ability to train them and anticipate. We might not get them all right, but if you look at those 6 sectors, again, as you mentioned, manufacturing, healthcare, IT, ag, early childhood and transportation. There's a couple others that after this trip I'd like to add. Hospitality is one of them. Energy is another one. These are areas that are short workers. And you talk to some of these industries, 20 to 30%, they are waiting. They can do more work. They can produce more economic growth for our state and our regions, but they don't have the workforce. And if we don't prepare those, they have to be transferable skills. I think that's the key going forward, is a lot of these elements will provide the platform for them to get these jobs, but then ongoing training within the businesses is up to them, and also in coordination with our career and technical schools. But this is something that we have to get flexibility. We have to put these things on the forefront and make sure we're, again, getting ahead of the game and not behind, because once again, businesses will not be able to survive or even grow or even stay in business if we don't have the pipeline of talent to support those jobs.
Senator Anderson, thank you so much.
Thanks, Shannon.